William, I do want to get your thoughts in on, broadly speaking, how you're going to be placing your bets. What is it that you have looked at buying recently, given all that talk about how the Chinese market perhaps has bottomed out?
Yes, I think we are looking for a tipping point. I think the green shoots is here. Let's look at what are the most crowded trade and what happened when it's being kind of like unwinded. I would say the most crowded trade right now, globally in China is kind of like the short mid to high end kind of like consumption and then long the low end consumption. To put some number into perspective, look at PDD, Pinduoduo. Year to date, I think they're up 30%. If you look at Ali, they are actually down 10%. If you look at JD.com, they are actually down about 50%, half. So which means actually there is a very crowded trade that investor is trying to kind of like long the low-end consumption and then trying to short the mid-end because of the consumption downgrade. I believe when the trend kind of like green shoots coming back, this trade will be kind of like reverse. And if you look at valuation, JD is trading at about 11 times price to earnings ratio, but Pinduoduo is 22 times. So this is a typical trade that we are trying to position, in the tipping point when the sentiment, global sentiment, the views towards China change. Other than that, I think we are along the traditional kind of like electric vehicle, policy support sector, and also the call option kind of like position in the China market, like the Chinese broker. When the volume picking up, when global investor, coming back, Chinese broker usually is the first one to get, move up, if you like.
Hopefully those global investors come back. And it's interesting what you were talking about in terms of, perhaps people going a little bit short on one end and then going long on Pinduoduo. But do you think that realistically it might be that the other ones are fairly priced, but Pinduoduo is just benefiting from all of this excitement about Temu, and especially in the United States, there's been a raft of, broker commentary. There's been a raft of excitement about how they're going to, disrupt completely the discount retailers in the United States, but it could just be a little bit of a flash in the pan as well.
Yes, I think that is part of the reason. But if you look at the stock price performance and valuation gap, this is at historical peak, right? So both are, focusing on the China consumer, although arguably speaking, one mid-end, one so-called, lower end. But if you look at the price performance, it's 80% year to date. So this is, from my perspective, one of the most, crowded trade, among the hedge fund who is, trading China. And I think we are closer to a tipping point, if, for example, in Q3 and Q4, the earnings figure, all the fundamental from JD rebound. And I think, just, reversing or closing this trade will trigger this pair in a dramatically, manner.